What is going on, everybody? So last night on my video that I put out, I got a comment from someone who was basically just asking about future sets. They're asking about OP12, PRBO2, OP13, asking if we should follow trends like the specialty sets, extra boosters, the premium boosters, etc. And they're also asking about individual boxes versus cases. So I figured in this video, we'd talk about all of those. And I want to go over OP12 quickly because I've already made a video on OP12, and I think it's going to be an okay set. I'm glad Bandai's starting to branch out with the manga cards. Jewelry Bonnie's getting a manga card, but in this set, it looks like the manga card is not going to be the most expensive. We're going to have these gold and silver versions of Blackbeard that are more than likely going to be the most expensive cards in English. You also have some other interesting cards in here, at least for me. You have Zoro in here, and I think there's some Mihawks in here as well. So I don't think it's going to be a terrible set. I just don't think it's going to be on the level with something like an OP09, a PRBO1, an OP05. It's going to be below a lot of those. It probably is going to be in the level of something like Wings of the Captain, maybe even a little bit below that, because I think the manga Zoro is a way better top chase card. But if you can buy the box for $70 to $80, you really don't have a ton of downside. So this person was asking, because a lot of people come from different financial backgrounds. And again, guys, when you're investing, there's no shame based on how much you can invest, right? Like some people are going to invest more, some people are going to invest less. The whole point, right, and what makes you a winner is the fact that you are trying to invest. Everyone who's rich in life invests their money. At least I'd say like 98% of people, okay? You got to be pretty dumb to have a ton of money and not be investing it. So as long as you're putting your money to work, that's really the thing that matters the most. So if you have $80 and you want to buy a booster box at OP12, you can get it cheap, great. Like, I don't think it's going to be 5-10 years down the road at the same level as something like an 09, a PRBO1, but you're going to see decent gains on it more than likely if the game succeeds. And again, basically investing every single booster box in One Piece is contingent on the game succeeding, there being a collectible side of the hobby. We already see that there is a collectible side of the hobby. One Piece, I believe, was the second or third most graded game at PSA over the past couple of years. So it is moving up. There are people that want to grade the cards and collect the top chases, the mangas, the SPs, etc. And I don't think that that is going to continue to shrink. I only see it getting larger. Again, I started putting money into One Piece because I saw on YouTube there was tons of box openings that were actually getting views. I saw channels getting more views than their subscriber count. To me, that says that there was a lot of demand for the product and the entertainment. So until that ends, right, or that slows down, which is probably going to be a long ways away, I am quite bullish on One Piece moving forward. So to talk about that and to sum it up, yes, if you have less money, you can buy something like OP12. I'm not super excited about it though, and honestly, even if you have less money, like you only have about $120-ish, I would just buy OP11 because I think OP11 is a way better set than OP12. I think it's going to do much better over the next 3 to 5 years. You have the Luffy Chase card. But outside that, I guess we can touch on PRBO2 a little bit. We still don't know all the cards that are going to be in PRBO2. I don't think God packs have been confirmed yet. I think people are hopeful that's still going to be a thing. We do know that there are going to be Golden Dawns, and I really like that some of these have different textures than the regular Dawns, like you can see here. The texture in the background on the moon, same deal over here. You can kind of see the texture. So I really like that. I think a lot of these cards are going to be expensive, especially if the pull rates are difficult like PRBO1. And PRBO1's been one of the best investments. I mean, if you bought this around $100, $120, you're laughing, you're up over 100% in less than a year. That's an amazing investment. And the person was asking whether investors should hop on trends like the premium boosters, like the extra boosters. Guys, you know my opinion, okay? Until Bandai starts to reprint these specialty sets like PRBO1, EBO1, EBO2, and we really see them commit to doing that, I like the fact that we can buy these boxes fairly cheap at release, put away a case or two, and then in a couple years' time, we're seeing decent returns. I like that. And until Bandai proves to the consumer that they're willing to reprint those sets, I think that you should be focusing on trying to build positions in all of them, even if they're not the strongest set, right? Like when we look at EBO2, I don't think that's on the level of something like an OP09, which I can bring up over here. I think it's just a tier below that. Same thing with like OP05. I don't think it's as great as that set either. Even Romance Dawn, honestly, like the cards inside Romance Dawn, you're pretty close at that point, I'd say. Maybe the Chase Luffy in EBO2 is better, but those are fairly close. So just the fact that there are less boxes on the market of EBO2, the fact that it's less likely to get reprinted, yeah, I'd say I'm a fan of investing in those. And then also just the anniversary sets like 05, 09, and then OP13 coming. The one thing I'll say about this, because I do think OP13 is going to be a good set, I just have a feeling based on what Bandai's currently doing with these previous sets, loading them up with top chase cards like in 09, you have the Gold Roger, you have the Luffy, some other mangas, etc. So yeah, I think OP13, it could be a good investment. Now, the one thing to remember, OP13 is going to be a mainline set. It's not going to be an extra booster. It's not going to be a premium booster. So it's more than likely going to get reprints. We just saw a restock or reprint of OP09. That brought the price down from around $195 on TCG Player to around $170 at its lowest, $165. And I think you're more than likely going to see the same with OP13 at a certain point in the future. The problem is if you are pre-ordering a product 6 to 8 months out and you know it's going to be in rotation for 2 to 3 years, you could be sitting on dead money for a long time. Now, if the set's amazing, like it's better than 09, there's tons of chases, like we get a ridiculous gold Luffy, another Roger, a Shanks, who knows what other mangas you could throw in there, right, to just max the set out. Then maybe if you're pre-ordering at $100, $120 a box and they jump up to like $240, yeah, sure. I mean, you could make money in the short term, but chances are we're not going to get just an insane Evolving Skies level set from OP13, and you might sit on dead money, and that's something you need to be prepared for. And that's what I really hate about One Piece is the game is just a pre-order so far in advance. I do not enjoy that. Pokemon was kind of like that this year as well, just because there's so many people coming into the hobby. It really didn't matter what cards were going to be in the box. Everyone was just trying to get their hands on it. I don't enjoy that. For me, I would always pre-order, at least in Pokemon before I came to One Piece, I would always pre-order after I saw the chase cards. When I knew what the set was kind of going to look like, at that point, I would be willing to put money forward. But just going in blind and buying a case or two, I do not enjoy that. But that doesn't mean that my opinion is going to be right and correct. Like, you could be pre-ordering every single set, getting a really solid price, pretty close to wholesale, and I'm sure you'll do fine doing that. But just be prepared to sit on your boxes for multiple years and not see any crazy growth if it's not an insane set. So that's all I'm going to say there. And to end the video, they wanted to ask about single boxes versus cases and kind of just talk about the mappability, I guess, of cases. Again, in the future, I always recommend buying cases. I do think there's going to be a case premium because cases in One Piece, it does seem that they're mappable. For example, this is just a Reddit thread of someone who opened a case of 05. They got 4 boxes that had 2 alts and a secret rare, 2 boxes that had an SP, an alt, and a secret, 2 boxes with an SP and a leader, 2 boxes with an alt and a secret. I hate boxes like that, by the way, such a pain. 2 boxes with 2 alts and a leader. So there you go. That's kind of how a box breakdown is. And the idea is that there's also a higher chance of getting a manga out of a case. So in theory, someone could buy a case, they could open a box, find the manga, and then just not open any of the other boxes. Or they could open the boxes that they know have 3 hits in them, or they open so many that have 3 hits that they know the rest have 2 hits, and then just sell those off. So there are ways in the future I could see customers being less willing to pay top dollar for a loose box, even if it still has the seal on it. But I don't think it's going to be a big issue, especially if you're buying from a large store like Hobbiesville. For example, I bought 2 boxes of Royal Blood from Hobbiesville, and I just got sent 2 loose boxes. It wasn't in a case, and I pulled the Law manga. So if you're buying from a reputable seller, I don't think it's going to be an issue. If you're buying on the secondary market from someone more sketchy, sure, you're probably not going to get top dollar, or you're not going to be willing to pay top dollar, but I don't think it's going to be a big consideration. And honestly, if you only have enough money to buy a booster box or maybe 2 booster boxes, just go ahead and buy the boxes. If you have enough money to buy cases, you're willing to invest in cases, that's awesome. Like, go with those instead of loose boxes. And the final thing I'll say in this video is that even if you do want to follow these trends, you want to buy cases, etc., there comes a point where a set may not be the best investment even if it's the best set. So for example, right now, if you look at PRBO1, and if you have a long enough time horizon, I think this is irrelevant, right? If we're looking 10 years into the future, this point's probably going to be null. But if we're looking at the next 5 years, 3 to 5 years, if you're considering buying PRBO1 at $263, I would say that buying 2 boxes of OP11 is probably going to give you a better return, because OP11 is still a very good set, and it's very cheap right now. Realistically, this should be like probably $160, $170 booster box. I think this is better than Wings of the Captain. I'd say it's better than Paramount War, Pillars of Strength, Kingdoms of Intrigue, but those are a little bit older. So I think that we're going to see this box over the year, next 6 months, towards the end of the year, next year, get into the 150, 160, 170 range and just keep going over time. So if you can pick it up at $80, $90, even if you're paying $125 on TCG Player, that's still going to be a very decent entry point looking back at this 2 to 3 years from now. And I know that was long-winded, but hopefully that helps a little bit. And when we get more leaks from PRBO2, I will make a full video talking about what I think about the set. I'm just waiting to see the cards inside, right? Like, I don't want to sit here and talk about just a few leaks because to me, that's not really exciting. I want to get a good idea of what the set is going to be like. But I think if you're buying this pretty close to MSRP wholesale pricing, it's going to be a good investment, even if you have to pay up a little bit. Here in Canada, I think New Rel Games put some boxes up for like $200 Canadian. They sold out fairly fast. So I imagine at least here in Canada, people are probably going to be paying $225, $250 out the gate. And that's really just how it's going to go. So either way, you guys let me know in the comments down below what you think. If you watch the main channel and you're interested in Pokemon, I'm going to be doing the Elite Trainer box and PC ETB update tomorrow. I'm going to be starting at midnight because I think it's going to take me a long time to do it all. If you guys are just here for the One Piece content, I appreciate you guys watching. If you did get some value, about 70% of you guys aren't subscribed to the channel, so consider subscribing. It helps out a lot. With that said, thank you so much for watching. Stay safe wherever you are in the world, and I'll catch you in the next one.